Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about loving your fears. And that's a hard thing to do when you really try to avoid your fears, let's be honest. So, luckily for me, I found a lovely lady to be on my show to really break this down so that we can really think about this in a special and a new way when it comes to our own lives and our fears that we are avoiding. So Tracy, thank you so much for coming on on my show. I appreciate you. How are you doing today?
Awesome. I'm awesome. Thank you for having me.
Great, great, great. So I guess to just jump right into the points,
Yeah.
what made you realize that you had to face your fears?
Hmm. When I had a calling when I was a vice president of human resources and my soul was dying, which is a very common story, I had a decision to make. I could either stay in the status quo of what everyone tells you is success, or I could trust myself, bet on myself, and lean into the calling that I was meant for more.
Mm,
And in that occurring, it paralyzed me for 2 years. I didn't make any moves for 2 years. And after I finally did take the leap, I committed to studying risk aversion, and the biology of fear, because I knew that if I could save other women years because fear was leading, then that would be a huge contribution to the world. And that's what I've done. And now I'm often known as the fear whisperer because I understand how to help you be more powerful than your fear.
that is very nice. And I love the fact that you kept it honest and you said that you were basically paralyzed for 2 years. Let's be honest. We all go through those times where we're just in that season of our lives where it's just like, nope, I'm not moving. I'm in a funk. Deal with me when you deal with me. But it's nice to know that that even happened to you, someone who has really transformed her viewpoints of fears.
Hmm.
So, if you don't mind me
Yeah.
asking, what is your biggest fear?
I don't have a biggest fear. It's more about all of us understanding that fear is biological and fear is inevitable, right? So really, if I had to answer that, I would say fear that I don't reach my unlimited potential before I die, right? Which is actually
Mhm.
more of a driver than it is anything else. So it's recognizing that fear is we're never going to be fearless. It is incomplete to say choose love over fear because that doesn't include your nervous system and its biological primal wiring.
Mhm.
So to really understand the best thing that we can do, and this is part of what we teach, you get to love your fear. You get to appreciate your fear. Because really, at its core, fear is doing exactly what it was designed to do: keep you alive and keep you safe. The problem with that for all of us is that everything we desire and everything we're capable of is in the unknown. And anytime we think about or start to move into the unknown, our system registers that as a threat and it ignites our fear response, right? So it's kind
Yes.
of like, well, then shit, what do we do? So everything I
Yeah.
want lives out there, but everything about my wiring is going to try to keep me exactly the same. And that's where it gets really fun to love your fear, appreciate your fear, understand that change happens at the speed of safety, and learn how to bring that safety to your body and your nervous system so that you can expand and do everything you're capable of doing.
That's very interesting the way that you put it. I like the way that you put it because it makes it sound like we basically feed our fear as we feed our anger and our sadness and anything else that we want to throw a pity party in. So it's kind of interesting to really hear that we're basically feeding our fear. So to flip it into loving our fear is really changing because now we can confront so many things in the unknown, even in ourselves or even in for the future or just overall, because it's exactly like you said, fear comes with the unknown of what could possibly be in those what ifs in our lives and what ifs to come. I mean, those what ifs, man, they can keep you trapped and contained in your own little prison cell if you don't really branch out. So, how do you even start loving your fear then?
Yeah, and something I want to highlight that's important is, your thoughts are options, not facts.
Yes.
And if you continue to let your mind lead, then you're continuing to let fear lead, and you will always, always, always interfere and get in your own way. Right? We have to really realize that what if game is the way that your system perpetuates your neuroses, your anxiety, right? All and those emotional addictions that you're so used to feeling,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that's just something it's really important to acknowledge. Just because you think it doesn't mean you have to attach to it or listen to it.
Exactly, exactly. I appreciate you putting that out there for the audience because let's be honest, someone in the audience may be feeding their fear right now and they just don't understand, or maybe feeding some other type of emotion. And just because we are emotional human beings doesn't necessarily mean we have to uh, flow with whatever emotion that's at the moment or in the scenario that wherever that we may be in. So I appreciate you putting that out there and clarifying that because it does need to be said. I think it needs to be said over and over and over again where people just meditate on that fact because I've heard like what we tell ourselves truly affects the momentum or the direction that we're going. Do you believe that is true?
Oh, I know it's true. So I'm a science and spirituality teacher. I'm also certified in neurology and biology of the mind, of the body. And language is one of the most underestimated parts of how we be and who we are. Every word that leaves your lips tells us two things. It tells me what you believe and what you perceive, and it also becomes a directive that then your brain goes out to make real,
Correct.
right? Every single word actually does matter, right? It's just so important. And in terms of your other question, what do we do to love our fear? Well, the first thing is recognizing that everything you've been taught about it up to this point is the lie, right? The push through, do it anyway, go, 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 be fearless is not helpful. So we get to shift that paradigm and go, wait a minute, thank you, fear. You've kept me alive so I could be here in this moment on this conversation. Thank you. Now I realize I get to take my power back from you and I get to be in the leadership position in this relationship. Right. So that's really the
Mhm.
beginning point. And then we do the work to create safety in the body, to regulate your nervous system, to be an intentional thinker so that you're not letting because when you haven't shifted your relationship with fear, the thoughts that you're thinking are coming from fear, ego, and past experience, which is
Mhm.
why you keep generating a similar reality and a similar experience. When we
Correct.
realize that our thoughts are options, not facts, and we can elevate our level of mind and we can start to think intentionally and think thoughts that are in alignment with who we're becoming and how it feels to be in the reality of that future instead of what you're doing now.
Correct. Correct. I like that. Thank you. And I
Yeah.
think one of the things that I've always had come to like a wall because right now I'm kind of helping my sister through this and trying to help her change the way she talks to herself and the way she thinks. And all she keeps on telling me is this wall that she keeps hitting, and it's vulnerability and feeling weak. And I keep telling him, well, it's the way that you're thinking. And you see vulnerability as something that is weak, which
Mm.
makes you not want to allow yourself to cry or allow yourself to be vulnerable to people that love you or know your story or know what's going on, you know? So if anything, what would you say for those? I know that it's not just my sister. I know that it's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there that deal with this vulnerability and seeing it as something negative. So what would you say to those type of people?
I would say you're currently running under a program that you didn't choose.
Mm,
Okay. So it's really important to realize that the association and the belief structure that vulnerability is weakness is something that was given to you by the people who raised you and the people that raised them, the world at large, circumstances that occurred, wounds and traumas that went down. But that's the fun part of transformation, that no part of you is fixed. And when you really allow yourself to realize that your purpose is to heal, grow, and expand, because that's your actual purpose, it doesn't live outside of you. Your purpose is you, it's
mhm,
inside of you, right? Then you realize, oh, wait a minute, I have an opportunity to change the program. so I can completely reprogram myself. And what would I rather experience with vulnerability? Hmm. I'd rather experience the willingness to do it. I'd rather experience safety when I choose to be vulnerable. I'd rather become a woman who recognizes that vulnerability makes me more powerful than anything else.
Yes, I like those words.
Right? And then you reprogram that into your subconscious mind. That becomes how you think about vulnerability. And then you ask yourself, in a moment where old program would have driven you to not be vulnerable, you then go, well, what would she do? Who's she? She's that next level version of you who loves vulnerability as power. And she would say, well, I would take a few breaths and I would share vulnerably what I'm thinking. And then you do that. And every time you come from a place of that is who you already are, you are changing the program rapidly.
Very nice, very nice. And it's true. We have to change the programming in our mind. We have to change that survival mindset because just because fear helps you survive doesn't mean you have to have that survival mindset in every situation, relationship, scenario, season,
Mm,
any direction that you go into. I mean, it's there to help you when you really need to survive. But
yeah.
when you're in a good period in your life, you have to really let those guards down and just I
Well,
breathe.
breathe, but also you don't have to have survival periods. That's part of the fallacy, right? You're either in survival or you're in creation. And what's
Hmm,
available to us now through all of these gorgeous modalities and different programs, a lot of which we deliver at the Lit Factor, and so many other beautiful souls deliver incredible work. I mean, what's available to you now, it's irresponsible to not heal yourself at this stage in the game.
that's true. But that's the
Mhm.
thing. You have to want to heal. You have to have that desire to want to confront everything that you've been repressing, the traumas
Mhm.
that you don't want to relive, and that's the problem. Trauma in our lives is so real. And when we either write it down or express it in some way, your mind allows you to experience it again, and some people don't like that fact. You know what I mean? Some people
Well, but here,
people
okay, so
avoid that.
let's loop this back to fear. It's not even that people don't like that. It's that fear is in the lead and fear wants to protect you. So fear doesn't want you to experience the pain that it did such a good job disassociating from and such a good job repressing.
Yes.
Right. So it's really important to stop. Say it's not you that's choosing that. It's not that you don't want to. It's that fear is driving you to be like, nope, not today. It's too much. I'll cry forever. I don't want to feel that. But all of that is not real. Right. All of that is the lie. And really recognize, like, wait a second. Oh my God. So it's actually been my fear response this whole time that's stopping me from being joyful, that's stopping me from living into my potential, that's stopping me from believing in myself. And the answer is yes, because that's different than who you are right now. That's what I need the world to get, and that's why we are the leading company in the science of change, right? To
Yes.
really understand, oh, if I let the fear lead, it's going to convince me that I don't want to change, that it's too hard, that I'm going to have to do all of these things. But really, go back again to what I was saying about thought, those thoughts are options. So if you believe that level of thinking, then you will remain who you are and how you are. But what I know to be true in my own transformation and the transformation of thousands of women, who you have been is zero indication of who you're capable of becoming.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Can you say that again to the
Yes,
people in the
yes,
back?
yes,
Say it
yes. That's a
again,
Tracy Litt
please.
original. Who you have been is zero indication of who you are capable of becoming.
Mm, that's deep. That's mic drop right there. That's beautiful. That's real.
It's
And
real. It's real. And
real.
that's what we teach. It's a becoming process. And some of it's unbecoming, the old program, unbecoming the wounds, unbecoming that, the lower level consciousness, and becoming whatever you desire and design.
Yeah, and to be honest, we can design and desire so much. We
Hmm.
are we are so capable of doing so many great things in our lives as human beings. I mean, to fathom the thought of what we are actually capable is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing to really put yourself in the what ifs in a positive direction versus the what ifs in the negative direction that we're so accustomed of seeing and hearing. Like, what if is a beautiful thing when you have a positive direction? Oh my goodness, it's an absolute beautiful thing because life becomes possible. You actually understand that saying when they say impossible is only possible is
Mm.
actually really possible, if I mixed up the words, but
Mhm.
remixed it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the whole piece of it, you know. Who do you want to become? What do you want to experience? What do you want to create?
And if they don't know, where do
That's
you start
really
if you don't
well,
know?
so it's really great about that. It's super common because so few of us were ever raised to choose and were ever raised
Mm,
to actually be allowed to decide what we wanted. So just understand it's a learned skill. You just didn't learn it yet. It doesn't mean anything. It's not a sign. It's none of that garbage. It's
yeah,
just, it's simply, and I don't want to say just, that minimizes it. It's simply that you don't have evidence and experience for allowing yourself to decide what you want, for having your own voice, for trusting your intuition, right? Because it's just uncommon for anyone to be raised with that much agency. But you have
yes.
that now.
Yes, to be honest, it's true. I mean, because as a child, I mean, I have two children under two now, it makes me reflect like how I'm really conditioning their minds. You know what I mean? Do I condition their minds to be how I was raised? And that was a hot mess because believe me, I'm the product of the hot mess. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
My sisters are the product of the hot mess of what we were raised in. So it's like, no, I don't want that. And it's hard because when you have a significant other, it's like they're stuck in that way. So you're like fighting between knowing the direction of what's the best for your children versus confiding to the norms of tradition.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of pull and tug, and because as women, I feel that we are the first ones to start exploring in the unknown of ourselves before men do. I mean,
Mm.
that's just my opinion, but I don't know the stats on that. But in reality, in my mind, that's how I feel that women have the more the desire to want to explore the unknowns of the what ifs. I mean, what is your opinion on that?
Um, Everyone can and is capable of, and that's actually why I'm always talking about intentional evolution of all people, right? Especially if you're in partnership, if you are in a marriage, regardless of whether it is a heterosexual marriage or not, both people in partnership must intentionally evolve for there to be a change in the generations after them, right? For there to be more unity, for there to be a satiation in your relationship. Because when you're evolving, you're vulnerable and you're open and you're highly conscious and you understand, oh, well, I know why my husband reacts like that. He was raised this way and something that he moved through is this. So I open up to empathy and then I'm able to see him differently. And when you're intentionally evolving, you're connected to your body. So you're able to not be reactive and take, oh, my body's getting tight. I'm just going to take a pause here. I'll be right back. And you understand how to help yourself. Everything about your life, your experience, and every component of holistic success improves dramatically when you work on your own transformation. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfectly said. Good job. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Tracy. This has
Thank
been such
you.
an awesome, awesome conversation. You
Thank
have
you.
really been giving us some great information and great knowledge. And I feel
Thank
that this is going to really help people. You know what I mean? Help people see things in a different perspective because I've
you. Yeah.
had so many guests who have spoken about emotions and trauma, but in reality, I don't think I've had anybody say it the way that you have when it comes to our thoughts and our thinking, and you made it so simple. Like
Thank you.
reality, it is very simple. We just have to make that step of choosing
That's
and
right.
and acknowledging that it's not your fault. I mean, how
God,
you were
no.
raised up,
Yeah.
it's not your
Mhm.
fault. And I feel
Right.
that I say that all the time that you shouldn't put so much pressure on yourself when
Mm.
you've been served what you've been served. I mean, it's not your
Yes.
fault. So I
Yes.
guess to start wrapping up the show, what would be some great lasting advice? Even though you already gave us so
Ah,
many great advice, what could be
well,
some lasting advice you can give us?
well, there's nothing wrong with you. What you said is very important. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed, and it's not your fault. And now, as the grown ass adult that you are, it is your responsibility to heal, right? To let go of the past, to stop giving your power away to it and show up to what you're capable of, show up to the truth that you are an energetic being having a human experience, which then brings me to you are already whole. Your wholeness is your birthright. We love to play the I'm not enough game, and that just keeps us in third dimensional, low level consciousness, spinning out and focusing on the wrong thing. You are whole, you are worthy, you are enough. And the third thing being, you have to invest in yourself time, energy, and money. That is what has to happen. It is not going to happen on your own because we need community, we need gathering, right? And we need guidance, we need mentorship, we need the ability to learn new things, and we need someone who loves us enough to show us what we don't see so that we can shift.
Oh, thank you. That last part was beautiful because when
I know.
people, I truly believe that people can see something in others that you just can't see within yourself sometimes just because
Mhm.
we have this own perspective of ourselves that when we look in the mirror, we don't see the potential. We don't
No, well,
see.
you can't. The best way to understand that is this: you can't read the label from inside the wine bottle.
There you go. Wow, look at you, Tracy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Look at you dropping these bombs.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate this has been amazing. And I would love to invite everyone because a great place to start is by coming to the gala. You know, we're having the Consciousness Revolution Gala. Every bit of the conversation we just had is about elevating your consciousness because when you do, you transform. And when you transform, everything that you desire simply becomes. So, coming to the gala is an amazing place to start.
Awesome. Yes, I seen that on your website. Actually, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, if you want to know more about this great woman and her great factory that she has started with her movements, I mean, I was looking through everything. I think I'm gonna buy the ticket to check it out because
Mitzi, come. It is going to open you up in a way that your current level of mind can't even allow you to see, right? But that pull you've been having, the tinges while we're talking, that's all you need to know. And that's where we get to move to as a people. Less thinking, more letting our body lead and going, that feels like a pull to me, right? Versus
Mhm.
like push me away, I'm not so interested. But when you have a pull feeling, you need to trust that. And every time you say yes to a pull feeling, it opens up a portal,
It opens
right?
up that just that next avenue, open up that next level that you didn't even know you were ready to go into, but now you're
Correct.
in. Ex-
Correct.
I believe it. I think that's awesome. I do have Tracy's lovely photo on my website. So if anybody's listening who's really intrigued as I was or I am, please go check it out. Click her photo. It goes directly to her site. Everything Tracy that you want to find, it is on there. Excuse me. So that's it. That's our show. Oh, go ahead. You wanted to say something real quick?
No, no, no. I just thank you. Thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you. And I really cannot wait to have you at the gala. So let's do it. This is one of
oh,
those easy, let's just jump on it. I can't wait.
yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Always, always keep thinking. Be safe out there. Bye.